So hello friends. So today I will be starting up with the Android tutorials, and for Android I have picked up an application which is building up an SMS chat box. So what exactly it is like? It is something like someone is sending you a message on your Android phone, and you are reading up that text message, and then after that the app automatically replies to that message. So this is a chat box, SMS chat box. So this works on SMS, which is short messaging services. So my agenda for this training is to make sure that you can build any type of application on Android, and like I will be covering up these few concepts like while teaching you Android development. So just for a glimpse, we will be building something like this. So I have picked up this application from AutoFunnel. I thank you AutoFunnel for like letting me share up their code, and like obviously like I cannot share up all the secrets about the company, but yes, I will be sharing up many things like how an application is built. So you can see like this, the middle region, which is the like you can see it like it looks like a factory. So this is a frame animation. Then there is a slider button. So if I slide it, I cannot move it up and down, but yes, I can slide it horizontally. So if I just slide it, I will move on to the next activity. So this is the application, you can see. So these are the pages where I can like just swap the pages horizontally, and we will move up to the next page. So this is the registration page which has been built up by AutoFunnel. So yes, I will be sharing up this code as well. Then here like you can see like you can sign into the Google using OAuth 2 authentication. So this is something like which is really very like important nowadays to make sure that you cover the security aspect. So this was just a glimpse of like what all things we will be going on during this training. So during this training we will be covering up the Android framework overview. Then we will cover the life cycle of an activity. Then we will cover the life cycle of the fragment. Then we will see frame animation. Then we will see object animation. So here in this app, this the middle furnace is the frame animation, and this is the object animation. I am moving this, then I am tracking the movement of this middle circle, and if it reaches till the end, then I move on to the next activity. So this is the object animation. So we will be discussing about this. Then we will discuss about the permissions. So you must have heard about the like internet permission, SMS read permission. So there are a lot of permissions which are required, and like their purpose. So it depends on the kind of application which you are building up. Then there are something called as foreground process, background process. So we might even go through them. So I'm just typing it. So there are something like these. So then like we might read few things from the contacts. In mobile we have contacts, so we can read the contacts. So how we do it, we can like we will study about it, and a lot more things. But my agenda will remain to make sure that you understand Android completely, and you should be able to build up a project on Android by yourself. So this was majorly about the things which we will be covering up in the entire series. But today for chapter 1 we will be like covering few things where we will be discussing about the Android architecture. Then we will take forward towards the Android framework and get familiar with about Android Studio. So I will be doing all my coding on Android Studio. So next we will see Flutter. So what exactly is Flutter, and like why exactly it is used? So this complete series will not be covering. So I want you to focus on this. I will not be covering Flutter in this series. My main agenda is to make sure you can build up an application on Android. What is Flutter? Flutter is just a UI which is like capable of reusing the code on all the platforms. You can use the same code on Android, you can use the same code on iOS. It is a different module. You can combine it with Android, you can create a Flutter project like what but it is exactly a different thing. We will talk about it after some time. Then at last we will see how people build up an Android app in just 5 minutes. So you people must have seen people saying that you give me the website, I will build up the project in like 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. So when I started up coding Android, I used to like think how exactly like people can build up an app in just 10,000 bucks. I cannot. So like we will study how exactly people do this. So let's begin. So let us now first go ahead and install Android Studio. So to install Android Studio, just go to Google and type in download Android Studio. Go to the very first link, go below and click on download Android Studio. Here you will have to accept this and click on download Studio for Windows. So your download will begin, and you can see at the very bottom this side it will be downloaded like this Android Studio. I will just go to my downloads. This is my Android Studio. I just need to double click it. So then you will like get a pop-up for installing, which you can see over here. So I will just click on, you might not be able to see because my video maker cannot capture this. I will just say yes. And then your Android Studio installation will begin. So to install Android Studio, you just need to do next, 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 and at the end say install. But as I have already installed it, it just says installed old version. But I have already installed it, so I am just canceling it up. So after you install Android Studio, just go to the down search button and type in Android and just hit an enter. So there are some directories, you will not get anything like this because I am already using it. That's why I'm getting up this pop-up. You will not get anything like this. Let me just delete it. You will straight away get this kind of uh, window which will convert into this. So this is something which you will get. So here at first go to this configure part and go to settings. After going to settings, I would like you to see the system settings. No, SDK. In SDK, go to SDK tools. This is what it is required. SDK tools. In SDK tools, make sure that you have selected Intel x86 emulator and this is installed. So you have to make sure all these things which I have selected are installed on your device. If not, just go ahead and click them and say okay, apply. So the Android Studio will automatically install them. For HAXM, you need to make sure that the virtualization option is enabled and Hyper-V is disabled. So how can you enable virtualization option? Just go whenever you like restart your system. So after restarting of your system, if you press delete or F2 key, there a blue screen comes. In that blue screens, there is an option to see virtualization. You can just Google it. I'm just telling you that to install HAXM, you need virtualization on because this is something like which creates up the emulator. I just showed you up the working app on my system few minutes back. So it happened because of this HAXM installer. So you need to make sure all of these things are installed. Click OK and then just go ahead and say create a new project. Say basic activity will be fine, or you can select empty activity. That will be brilliant. Just select empty activity, click on next and give your application the name of auto funnel. So this is what I am building up. Please do not use this name. This name has already been taken as a product by host-tune-perform.com. So language, you can choose two languages. One is Java and second is Kotlin. Like, but like I will be focusing on Java. I have done my Android development using Java. So if you learn it in Java, you can build up in Kotlin or any other language. The only difference is the syntax. How you need to do it remains the same. Second is the minimum SDK. So as of now, the latest SDK which is being used is 11. So you can see for Android 11, there only 1% of the devices are there. So choose at least Nougat, which will make sure that at least 73.7% of the devices are being covered as a part. So I usually choose API 24. You can choose any API you want. It depends on the type of application you are building and the coverage you require. And just click on finish. So as you click on finish, you will get something like this in front of you. And at the very bottom, you will see various processes running. You can see just behind me, you can see Gradle download. Let me maximize it for you. Here you can see. So one thing you need to make sure before opening up Android Studio is you should be connected to internet. If you are not connected to internet, there are a lot of dependencies which will not get installed, downloaded. For coding purpose, you do not require internet, but for Gradle is something which is similar to Maven. It is a repository or the library management, you can say, which manages all your third party jars which are being used. So it will take few minutes to get all things set, and then you can see over here, you can see loading. After all of these things will like get set up, you will get a hierarchical structure over here. So obviously we will be discussing about a lot of things in Android. First let this thing get finished, then let us go. So meanwhile Gradle is getting updated, let us go ahead and see Android architecture. So this is the complete architecture of Android. I'm just zooming it up, and let us first see the lowest, like lowest layer of this architecture, which is the Linux kernel. So to do Android coding, you need to have only one prerequisite, that is Java language. So if you do not know Java language, that is also okay. I will make sure that you understand that too. But it will be highly valuable to you, and like it will become very easy for you to understand concepts of Android and like to implement them if you already know Java. So at the end, Android is nothing but a mobile phone. It is an operating system which resides on a mobile phone, and the mobile phone itself has a lot of hardware. So it has a camera, it has RAM, ROM, CPU, it has something to like it has a speaker, right? Like from where you hear up the voices. Then it has something which can uh, like like intake your voice. When you speak up on a phone, your voice goes to the other person, so it has some gadget, a hardware installed which takes up your voice. Then it has front camera, back camera, then it has touch pad, then you can swipe on it. Like there are a lot of things, a lot of hardware which is being used, and above that hardware we require a software. So the software layer, the first layer of the software is the Linux kernel. So all of these hardware, Wi-Fi, USB, Bluetooth, camera, all of these hardware are bounded up by a software layer, which is the Linux kernel. After this, there is a hardware abstraction layer, that is HAL. So we you actually do not need to go very deep inside the architecture of Android. The only thing which you should know is Java, not even C++ to start with. So you require to understand C++ or how we can like integrate C++ code with Android Studio at a very later stage, at an advanced stage. So this is not required as of now. So after this hardware abstract layer, we have native C++ libraries which like talk to them. And at the end, we have Java API framework, which we people actually use. So below this, whatever is happening is none of our concern. But if you need to go deep dive inside into it, you can just log in into Android architecture, and we have a great documentation by Android themselves. At the end, you can see all the system apps. So these will be the application which will be prepared up by you or by the system itself. So dialer functionality, email functionality, calendar functionality, camera functionalities, these all apps have been built up by Android. So we already have so many apps which are working on the Java API framework. You can directly work with C, C++. We might talk about it at later stage, but as of now, this is not required. So this basically covers the architecture of Android, and let us go back and see our Android Studio. So yes, Gradle has already finished. You can see over here. You can go at the very bottom, you can see a line where you will see to do, terminal, build, logcat, profiler, and data inspector. So you need to go to the build part, just go to this thing and you can see the build logs. So you can see that it was downloading a lot of things. Then at the end it says Gradle daemon started in 3 second 5 352 milliseconds and then build successful. So it took 6 minutes 14 seconds to build up this environment. So if you divide Android Studio into various parts, so above below this part, which you can see over here, this part is the logs. Anything and everything happening with your application, you can see over here at different stages. So build logs, you can see over here. Application log, you can see in logcat. So these are the application logs which you are building up. Let me maximize it. Then you will see a profiler. Obviously, we will come to them at later stage. So as of now, you can just understand that these are the things where you will find what exactly is happening in your app, right? Then on the top side, you have your application. So at this side, you have your application, and in this application, we build an application named as AutoFunnel, right? So you will be seeing up AutoFunnel over here. Then you will see the app. This is the AutoFunnel app, and then we are in source main Java. So in this app, we are in Java. So this is where you will be writing up your Java code, and there is one more folder into it inside this app, which is resources. So this particular app folder, this is the app folder. This app folder has 3 folders mainly, and all these 3 folders have a different aspect. So when I say that it has a different aspect, what exactly I mean? So resources, resources is the folder where you define up the layout, how the app will look like in front of you. So few minutes back, I showed up you the AutoFunnel application in which there was a factory which was consistently moving, which was frame animation, and then there was an object animation below it, which was a slider button, right? So all these things where it will be placed, how it should look, what can we move it down or up, all the things which are being seen by the person while using up your app will be written in resources, specifically in layout. So we are designing up the layout, whatever. But what happens when a person clicks on a button? What happens if a person slides the slider to register? What will happen then? It is something which is controlled by Java. Any action which is performed on the mobile device or an application is performed by the Java code, but how it looks is being controlled by the layout. Okay, so after doing this, the next part is manifest, which is the core of your application. So whenever you install an application, you must have seen people saying that Google have rejected their app. They're not allowing it on Google Store. How do they come to know what an application is using? This is by a manifest. So we have only one file in manifest, which is Android manifest.xml, and this gives the complete detail of what exactly your application will be doing. You have everything over here. You can know it is a SMS application, it use what kind of permissions, it has what kind of services, like what intents it is using. So what is intent, we will talk about it, but as of now just understand that this particular file gives you everything. So it, you can say this is the index of your application. which tells what your application is doing and what all things it will be performing on your system, mobile phone. So these are the three basic folders in app, and at last you will see a Gradle. Gradle, again, I have already told you, is nothing but a Maven. So if you have not worked on Maven or on Gradle, that is okay. As of now, just understand this is something which is managing up your project. Gradle is something which is managing up your Android project. So if I just click on it, so you will have few files over here. Gradle, then we have Gradle build.gradle project level file, we have build.gradle module level file, and we have a lot of files. So these all are the files which define how your project should be managed, how the files of your project should be managed. So we will talk about it slowly and gradually. So I just want you to make sure like you understand the starting area for Android. Let me just minimize this. Then the third part of Android Studio is this part, which is your workspace. So if I click on anything, if I go to app, resources, layout, activity dot underscore main dot xml, double click on it. So this XML will be open on the workspace. You see, this XML has opened on the workspace. Similarly, if I open anything from any folder from here, if I go ahead and open main activity, so it will open on the workspace. This is the workspace where you will write up the code. So this is the front end which will be seen by the user, and if the user clicks on this button, what will happen? We will have to write in this Java. So you see, both of them have the same name. This says activity main, this says main activity. So we are taking up this layout into this activity. How we are doing it, we will discuss it. But as of now, you can understand this with Java controls these layouts, right? So this layout, which is visible by the user, is specific to Android, and we do this layout coding in XML. So what is XML? XML is a kind of language. I will just minimize it, go back to this, and here you must get an XML tab. So you see over here design, code and split on the top. This design, split and code. Just click on the code part and you will be able to see the code. So this is how it is designed. You can even drag and drop. So I can just drag a text box over here and it will be placed out over here, and I can even write a code. So you can see a text box has emerged. A text box has been added. So you can either drag and drop or you can like just write up a code. So we will talk about all of these things. My main agenda for today is to make sure that you become comfortable with the Android Studio at first. So before we go ahead and understand more about Android Studio, how to run the apps, like, and all these things. So let us understand a booming technology with mobile, which is Flutter. So Flutter is a technology which has been built again by Google, and it uses the Dart language. So Dart language is very similar to JavaScript. Today we are just discussing the scenarios and the booming technologies which are currently in like market. So let us see what exactly is Flutter and how exactly this helps in building up the mobile devices. So in the previous part of this video, we discussed about the XML, like the layout of Android is developed using XML. So the code looks something like this, right? But when we say how Android creates its UI and how iOS creates its UI, so iOS uses a different language and it uses its different format for creating of the UI. So we are not discussing about the iOS, but the point is like we cannot use the same code as written in this XML to have the UI similar in iOS. But this is what is covered in Flutter. So what does Flutter give us? Let us see it. So for seeing it, let me go to Google and just say download Flutter. So it is open source. You will get something like this. Go to Windows, you will see this page. Here just install the download this zip file. So it will take a while, you can see. So this is getting downloaded. It will take 3 minutes. So now you can see at the very bottom, Flutter has been like downloaded, the zip has been downloaded. So now let us go ahead and go to the downloads folder. I will just cut it. I will go to my C drive. Let me say new folder and say Flutter. So do not paste it inside program files. This is always said not to be done because the software might need some extra privileges with different users. So let me extract here. So meanwhile this is getting like processed, let us go to the Android Studio and we need to install the Flutter plugin. So just go to the file and we need to go to the settings option, which is right here. See, just click on the settings, and when you click on the settings you get something like this. So here you need to go to plugins, and here in plugins just search for Flutter. So the very first option will be for Flutter, which is from flutter.dev. So you can just go ahead and click on install. So it will ask if you need to install this third party, say yes. So let us first install it and then understand. So because when you see things, you understand more. So it is asking me to restart the IDE. I say restart. So the Flutter is still getting processed. Okay. Now if I go to file, click on new. So here in new, you see that it says create a new Flutter project. So this was not previously. When Flutter was not there, there was nothing like this. But now you will see something like this both in Android and in iOS. So now you can say that when you design the UI, Flutter is just to design the UI. So we discussed about it, about the framework of Android, when we said that there are three parts. This is the UI. Java 1 is the one is Java files which control the UI. What happens when a button is clicked? And manifest is the like the dictionary or the index of your file. So this particular resources file is something which you are like developing in Flutter and which can be reused in iOS. So just go ahead and say new Flutter project. Obviously it will ask for the path where Flutter like libraries are stored. So these are nothing but the Flutter libraries. So I think that they are done. Let me see that. Let me cancel it. Okay. So I think that this is not done. It is done. Actually, this is done. We do not see a WinRAR over here. So let me go ahead and delete this, and let me just cut and paste everything outside and just delete this Flutter. So in Flutter you have bin. So these are all your executable files. You can see dart.bat. So I have already said you like this is built on Dart, and that flutter.bat from where this begins, this execution begins. So you just need to copy this path, which is C drive flutter bin, and just need to go to this PC, right click and go to properties. In properties, you need to go to advanced system settings. At very bottom, there is advanced system settings. Then here environment variables, and in this environment variable, go to path variable for this particular pyramid admin user. I'm going just doing this for this user and paste the Flutter path. So this makes this Flutter path available entirely for this user on the complete OS level. You people might know about it, right? So now I'm just going to my Android, and now I say new Flutter project. Let us create a Flutter application. So in Flutter, you can see Flutter application, Flutter plugin, Flutter package, Flutter module. So just for a brief, Flutter takes everything as widgets. When you create a new widget, so what is a widget? Flutter like takes up the mobile space, the mobile screen space, and it says just tell me what all things to place where, and all the things which are placed inside those space are widgets. It calls them widgets. It calls it components as widgets. So Flutter plugin is nothing but creating up a widget. This is a Flutter package. Maybe within a plugin you need some package, and this is the module, again a sub module, and this is the Flutter application, complete application. So I will just say Flutter app, and SDK path, we have just like installed Flutter SDK, right? So I'm just giving up the Flutter SDK path. So let me this, okay, we're not finding up the SDK. So this is the Flutter path, C drive Flutter. So you do not need to paste up till the bin, but please do paste up till the bin in path environment variable. So you can see it over here. It says that uh, see, it says that if the entry exists, append the full path to Flutter bin till Flutter bin. So till Flutter bin it is required over there. But as of now, we have like set up this in Android. You need to just mention C drive Flutter. Then click on next. Then again finish, and a new project will be created for you for Flutter. And in this new project, you will be able to design the UI on Dart. So when you are designing the UI on Dart and not on XML, you can reuse that UI on iOS as it is. So this is, so now before we just go ahead and close up this chapter, let us come to a very interesting part, which is like how people like say claim that they can just develop the Android app in just 5 minutes. So for this, like let us see on my screen. So you can see that I am a performance tester. I'm not sure how many of you actually know that, but like my deepness is into performance engineering, and I do teach people development. So you can see over here, right up my screen, like this is a website called as Web Tools. So this is a website which I have taken because I was like learning about load runner in this time, and like while like using that tool, this is a website which is given as free, and like as I was already using it, so like I just thought to create this particular thing for you on this website. So you can see that this is a website you have all, so you should already have a website before you go to someone and say like please develop the app in just 5 minutes. So I will just log in. So this is the website where you can go to the flight sections, you can book a flight, you can see the already book flights in itinerary, then you can go to the home page, and at the end you can sign off. So this is the website, and you can see that this website is perfectly working on this mobile device. So if you see, I will just close all of these things. So now if I go ahead and show you this, let me increase the font. You can see over here that we have an app, WebTour app. So this is Chrome. We are not opening this particular website on browser. This is an app. So this is a hybrid app. So I'll just click on WebTour, and you see that this particular app which we were running on Chrome on desktop on my laptop, now we can run it in the emulator, and I can even like log in, say test user 1, and put up my password, and I can log in. So you can see over here that yes, I can like run this app, I can go to flights, I can check the itineraries. So you can see, although the UI is not very good because the people have created this on in just 5 minutes. So let me just clear it all and come back. So you will learn all of these things while we will do this training. My agenda was to make sure that you see things and like you grasp a little startup. So we can say this is a just fast starter video for you. So if I go to resources, if I go to my values, and then I go to strings.xml, so how and why I am reaching here we will discuss about it later. So I have mentioned of the browser URL. So this is an app which is developed, and in this app, in the layout, I have designed a web view. What is a web view? Web view is nothing but a Chrome view. How the thing will look on Chrome. This is a web view, and this is already provided by Android. So I have created up this web view, and on this web view, I am just showing up this website. So I told you that we create the layout in XML. So do not worry about it. You will learn what is relative layout in detail, what is web view, and all of these things in detail later. This is just a startup booster for you. So in this Java file over here, which is the controlling file, you see this. In this layout, which is activity main, this is the layout, activity main. This layout is controlled by this Java file, and in this Java file we are saying that browser dot load this particular, so this becomes a part of the app. So now if I go ahead and change this string to something else, say www.amazon.com, so I think that the first page should at least get opened. So obviously, like, there are a lot of technologies involved in such a big uh, website, but let's see what happens. This is something new for me. I've just changed up the URL from that particular URL to this URL. And now, if you see nothing has happened, no problem. Let me go over here, say Google, and say Amazon.com. Let me copy it and let me go back and let me paste the complete URL, save it, rerun the app. See, now this app is for Amazon. So this is, if you see, this is the web tour app, but this app is opening up Amazon. So I will just close it. I'm just showing you how exactly things are done in market. See, Amazon. Now I do not own up this website, right? So this is highly disrecommended by Android developers, and like Google, they say you should not use this kind of thing. So I also recommend the same. But I just wanted you to show how exactly people build website in just 5 minutes. So this brings this chapter to the end, and in the next chapter, let us meet and discuss some details and coding on Android. Thank you guys. Have